A vast majority of people who survive knife attacks have absolutely no training whatsoever. Now, does training improve our odds of survivability? Yes. But it's what kind of training matters.
That's Paulo Rubio, the world-famous knife instructor. He's traveled the globe to document the greatest experts in combat.
This is brilliant.
Jesse, this is an ancient methodology.
Today, he's invited me to FMJ, a tactical facility usually reserved for special forces. Because it's time to learn the truth about knife defense.
I'm scanning the environment, I'm grooming, I'm indexing.
You're giving criminals a lot of good ideas right now.
Go! Up here, this was a real knife and I wanted to kill you.
What's the truth about knife defense?
A knife thrust can happen as fast as 0.14 seconds. When you blink your eyes, it takes 0.10 to 0.40 seconds. For you to initiate a defensive action, it takes about half a second. And so the mathematics of knife defense is impossible. Even if you see it coming and you initiate a defense, the likelihood of you being successful at it is very low. Think about this. What percentage of the world's population do you think does martial arts?
Less than 1%.
Less than 1%. What percent of knife attack survivors do you think have done any kind of martial arts training? It's not even in the, right? So a vast majority of people who survive knife attacks have absolutely no training in whatsoever. Luck has almost everything to do with it. Now, does training improve our odds of survivability? Yes. It's what kind of training matters. Let me paint you another picture. You watch football, you watch the Swedish football team. Okay. Yeah. So when that goalkeeper is standing on that line, do you think that that goalkeeper is seeing that ball travel in midair, processing the spin trajectory, and then at the last moment making a dive?
Definitely not.
Definitely not. So how are they able to make saves? What information?
So it has to be some kind of prediction, right? It can't be a reaction.
Right.
So they look at the body language.
Body language, right? Good.
And of course they're drawing from experience.
Drawing from experience, good.
And luck.
And a little bit of luck, all of those things. So it's the lead up, it's the moments before the kick. It's the last point of contact to the ball. So that's all knife defense is. It's a probability judgment based on the information that you can gather in a split second.
It's much less about the actual techniques than it is about the things preceding the technique.
Exactly. Now the thing is, whenever I say something like this, you know, it can be a little bit offensive because yes, technique matters, right? But so does strength, so does speed, and those things I can't control. If you're a big, strong linebacker and I'm a 62-year-old woman, it doesn't matter how much detailed technique and instruction that I've received. It doesn't matter how good that technique is. I'm not going to be able to pull it off against you. Does that make sense? So a successful goalkeeper, how many times must they save the ball out of 10 penalty shots for them to be considered a really good goalkeeper?
Oh, I'm not a huge football or soccer fan.
In baseball, if you have a .3 batting average, if you hit 3 times out of 10, you're getting paid a lot of money. Really? You're considered successful. Okay. So in knife defense, whenever I see people successfully defend in a demo 100% of the times, I begin to think that's an unrealistic expectation.
Should you expect to get cut?
I hear this all the time, right? In a knife fight, you will get cut.
Yeah, I've heard that too.
Yeah. So I think that's a defeatist mentality, right? And if we study CCTV videos, you certainly see that people get cut, but you also see people not getting cut. It's like, but if I say, hey, look, if you're gonna get in a boxing match, expect to get punched. Fine. Right? that makes sense. Probably. And I think the reason people say you will get cut or expect to get cut is that they don't want you to be shocked by it, and that the philosophy is to continue fighting.
What are some of those things we could be looking out for if we are about to get attacked?
100%. So this is important. These are called pre-attack indicators, and they're more or less universal. All right. So one of those things is called indexing. So if we're having an argument right here, and you see me doing this, right? You're
like you're searching.
Well, it's not that you're searching. You know where that concealed weapon is, right? You can get that weapon out very, very quickly. But why am I touching it? Why is this a pre-attack indicator? Why is this a sign, Jesse, that you're about to get stabbed?
Because there's some kind of comfort in feeling your weapon?
Right. So look, if you've ever proposed to a lovely woman who you wanted to be your wife.
Oh, it's anxiety.
You had that ring in your pocket all day long. What were you doing all day long?
Just checking.
Why? Why?
Touching.
You want to know that it's there when it's time to pull it out. Another pre-attack indicator. It's called scanning the environment. So what am I doing when I'm scanning the environment?
Making sure you can attack me.
Making sure I can attack you. Maybe I'm looking for cameras.
Right.
Maybe I'm waiting for my friends to arrive. Maybe as soon as I stab you, I'm looking for an exit point.
You're giving criminals a lot of good ideas right now.
Well, see, the thing is, these happen subconsciously. This is not a thing that you can necessarily control. You know what I mean? Like this. You see this? What is this?
Yeah.
Grooming.
Oh man, I'm already feeling it.
Yeah.
You're about to attack me.
Oh boy. And that's another thing I talk about.
Yeah.
You can infuse emotional gravity into a training environment.
Yeah.
Right? So,
but it's so weird that I also feel a kind of threat from you just because you start grooming yourself. Maybe even the viewers can feel it when they see that. Yeah.
That's your
That's
intuition.
Weird. Yeah.
That's your intuition.
That's the DNA. Yeah.
You ever walk into a place, Jesse, and you're like, this is a bad...
Many times.
Right.
That's why I've never been in a real fight.
Right.
Because I always avoid them.
So you trust your intuition.
Yes.
What is intuition? Intuition is subconscious pattern recognition. So you're not logically saying, I see him, and it's just a gut feeling. So you trust your intuition. So back to these pre-attack indicators, right? So I'm scanning the environment, I'm grooming, I'm indexing, and then one last thing, there are many. Okay, we're talking, and then I do this. I blade my body.
Oh, like this.
First we're talking.
Yeah, you're open.
And then I'm like, bro.
Oh, you're loading up that.
Boom. Most people are what? Left-handed or right-handed?
Right-handed.
Most.
Yes.
So the power is on the right side.
Yeah.
So look, we are adding bits of information to make a good probability judgment. Okay?
Yes.
So now we're having an argument. I'm indexing what could be a concealed weapon. I'm grooming, I'm scanning the environment. I blade.
I know something's about to go down right now.
Something's about to go down.
So should I try to get away, or should I strike you before you strike me?
That's the million-dollar question, right? And there is no right answer because you have to make the probability judgment.
Yes.
You have to be the goalkeeper.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, right.
So it's based on the totality of circumstance.
Yeah.
And look, you're a karate guy.
Yeah.
Right? You have a good solid base.
Yeah.
Can you execute a good side kick from this position?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Could you do it when there's ice on the ground?
Ice, I would probably go lower.
Right. But another thing we can't control are the infinite variables of weather, ground surface condition, your emotional state. Maybe you just had an argument with somebody and you're just not thinking straight. Maybe you didn't sleep well last night.
Or didn't have my coffee.
Or you didn't have your coffee.
Yeah.
So look at all of these factors, infinite variables. If I'm not exhibiting any of these signs and I just stab you, the math is way behind.
Oh yeah.
But now that you've recognized pre-attack indicators, you also know trajectories. Okay, step back for a second.
Yeah.
If I swing this way, what's coming next?
Probably
this.
Yeah.
Right? So that's where training can kind of have a place.
Yes.
But in real life, you have to be able to make good, solid decisions under stress, and you have to be able to constantly be assessing the situation to give yourself the most amount of information to be able to make a good probability judgment. But even then, you could be wrong.
Sure.
Just like that soccer player.
Right, and jump the wrong direction.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, you only get to be wrong once when it comes to knife defense.
Only get to be wrong once. Can I try something with you real quick?
Let's do it, yeah.
Okay, so I'm just gonna have you stand here. I'm gonna give you instructions, okay? I'm gonna stab you with a low line thrust, one of the most common attacks. And I just want you to initiate some kind of a defensive action. I'm not gonna go fast, it's just gonna be this way. Okay. Why did you choose that?
Because this is what I've been trained to do.
Okay, great. We're gonna do it again, just one more time.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna do anything different, same low line attack, okay? All right. Yeah. Okay, wonderful, great job.
I passed the test.
Did you feel that there was a difference between the first and the second?
Yes.
What was
the first was more static, more like a training environment. The second felt more real.
What does that mean, felt more real? This is not a realistic attack.
No, it was still slow, but you added more of the kind of body language I would expect from a real fight.
Yeah, and you know what else? Up here, this was a real knife, and I wanted to kill you. And you felt that.
Yes.
And you responded to that. Our minds, our bodies, our spirit, if you will, are incredible machines that are so fine-tuned to dealing and identifying danger. If we can just be aware of those things. And sometimes it requires a moment like this to go, I can manufacture it. Yeah. We're still in a training environment. Also, we have to give each other hugs and high fives afterwards. So you know why this is important to laugh in a training environment?
Yeah.
You know why that's really important?
Tell me.
Because parts of our brains can't differentiate between a real event and one that's powerfully imagined.
Yeah.
So there was a moment there where I was like, I really wanted to kill the karate nerd, Jesse Enkamp, right? And so we have to overwrite that.
I see.
We have to overwrite that.
Yeah, that makes sense.
By the way, wrestlers, jiu-jitsu people, and anything with a solid striking background like boxing, Muay Thai, karate, all of those are amazing for self-defense.
Yeah.
You could probably sidekick me and I wouldn't even get my knife out. Okay. But it's based on your recognition prime decision making. It's based on the things that happened beforehand that you're able to deploy your tools.
So what happens after that initial threat assessment?
Yeah.
And let's say somebody does attack us. What should we do?
Which do you think is better? An instinctive response or a trained response?
Probably a combination of both.
That's kind of the right answer.
Oh yeah?
The next question would be, how do you know that your trained response has become instinctive?
When you don't have to think about it.
Okay, and what protocols do you have to ensure that?
Training.
Right?
Practice.
Right, but trying to recreate real moments, right? So I have you want to do a quick drill?
Yeah, let's
with
do it.
me?
Okay.
Okay, I'm gonna get you to reverse blink.
Wait, what?
Yeah, what's reverse blinking? So can you blink for 0.10 seconds?
Okay.
Did you see that? Yeah, you blink.
Okay, I'm blinking.
Oh, you're so good. You're doing this.
I'm a black belt in blinking.
You're a master. Okay, but what we're going to do, is you're going to close your eyes and you're going to be, don't do it yet. I'm demonstrating for you. You're going to be in complete darkness. And when I say go, you're going to open, you're going to reverse blink your eye for 0.10 second. Boom.
Oh, okay.
And you're going to gather information in that quick
Interesting.
time. All right? So what I'm going to do for now is I'm just going to hold up fingers.
Numbers.
And you just tell me what you see, okay? So
I close my eyes.
And remember, when I say go and only go, you open it for 0.10 seconds, close them up again. Ready?
Yep.
Go.
So I saw 2 fingers.
Yeah, but you also opened your eyes way longer.
Really?
Yeah, that was way, you went like this, right?
But that's what I felt I needed to register those 2 fingers.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So you're trying to beat the drill instead of trying to extract what we could be learning from it, which is how much information can I receive in a short amount of time. You don't need to be right all the time. You need to be honest with this drill.
Yeah.
So watch me. Literally that. Now, here's the next evolution of the drill. When you open your eyes, a knife will be placed somewhere near you in a static way.
Okay.
Here's what you need to do. Open, close, and then slap it.
Slap the arm?
Just slap whatever you can slap. Only when I say go. Go!
Sorry, I looked and then Yeah. It was like an instinct. When I saw it, I just wanted to...
What I'm trying to get you to understand here is that your brain can process information very, very quickly.
Yes, because I'm not even thinking.
You're not even
It's just instinct.
Right.
Yeah.
And what did you feel when your eyes were closed?
Some kind of tension.
It's intense.
Yeah.
So look, I'm able to manufacture a drill with very little contact that recreates or manufactures real conditions out there.
This is brilliant. I don't think most people practice these kinds of things when they think about knife defense.
I've done a lot of traveling and research, and I take from as many sources as I can, and I've synthesized information into repeatable drills. This is one of those drills. It has evolutions to it, and people really come away with experiences. But how do you get experience? Have you ever been stabbed in real life before?
Nope.
I've never been stabbed in real life either. So the challenge is, how can we create meaningful experiences for our students that they can draw upon, other than getting some real knives and stabbing? Can I try another drill with you?
Okay.
So this is part of the ecological dynamics of teaching. In about 5 minutes, I'm gonna make you look like you've been training Filipino martial arts for 30 years.
Oh, let's go!
You ready for this?
All right.
Okay, so this is based on objective pairing. All you need to do is follow my rules, follow the rules of the game, and we're gonna do this, okay? So my first objective is to provide an initial strike. You are great at following instructions.
Thank you.
Your first objective is to provide an initial stop, okay? Objective, initial strike, initial stop. Initial strike, initial stop, initial strike, initial stop. Perfect.
Okay.
I can even do something silly. Perfect, beautiful.
Okay. So far, so good.
So far, so good. After your initial stop, I want you to move it somewhere else.
Okay.
Good. Got it?
Yep.
Initial strike, initial stop, move it somewhere else with the other hand. Initial strike, initial stop, move it somewhere else with the other hand. My next objective is to counter your redirection. Here we go. Initial strike.
Wait! Wow! Wow!
If we did that,
It felt a little bit stiff.
it did.
Yeah.
It
but
did.
that was challenging.
That was 30 seconds. If I had 15 minutes with you, bro, you could make you could do a FMA by Jesse channel, and people would be completely fooled. So now, using this same format, how do I make this relevant for knife defense? Okay. I'm gonna change the rules. Initial strike, initial stop.
Yeah.
From here, go get a 2-on-1 control.
A 2-on-1 control.
Any 2-on-1.
Like that.
That's 2-on-1.
Yeah.
What's another 2-on-1 control? Maybe a Russian tie.
Oh, okay, okay, I see. Yeah.
Maybe an inside 2-on-1 control.
Would that be okay? Oh, yeah, like an arm drag.
Something like that.
Ah,
okay?
okay.
So initial strike, initial stop, 2-on-1 control.
Yes.
Good. From here, my job is to conduct a knife switch. I'm gonna switch it to the other hand.
I stop. I do a control.
Now look, this is a terrible position for me. We can use this to work your 2-on-1 control.
Right.
How good is your 2-on-1 control?
Yeah.
Well, because we are in a dynamic drill, we're collaborative, you help me get a little bit. Now I got my knife switch.
Ooh.
Now we loop. Initial strike, initial stop, 2-on-1 control, go.
Okay, I try something different.
Try it. Yeah. Whoop.
Oh, my back is exposed.
But look, this can happen.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
If I said, okay, Jesse, first let's get into this position.
Yeah.
Then let's get into this position.
Yeah.
It would take us forever.
Yeah.
But this process allows us to explore the totality, the vastness,
Yeah.
by just following these simple.
It feels very alive, very practical.
And right away. Now, I want you to pin the knife to me.
Pin the knife to you.
To me.
Okay.
Good. I have to resolve this now. Initial strike, initial stop, pin. Go, 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 pin. Initial strike, initial stop, pin. Oh, good one. Now check this out. Same rules. Now you can pin it to me or the ground. This is gonna be why are we in this position? This is not a standard jiu-jitsu position, but this is how we might fall.
Wow. It felt like I was in like an action movie. It was like a movie.
Yeah. So this is how I get people with no jiu-jitsu training to learn knife defense on the ground.
And it's a good workout.
It's a good workout. But 2 black belts doing the same drill, or 2 big guys doing the same drill under the same rules, different dynamic, right? So objective pairing could be any 2 objectives, any 3 objectives. And we pair these objectives to work on specific skill sets or to address specific deficiencies.
Kind of like you're creating small games. Yeah.
You're creating games.
And then you're learning by doing rather than just theorize it.
Yeah. Yeah. And also, like something like a 2-on-1 control, for example.
Yeah, okay, oh, you're right.
Right?
Yeah.
It's going to have different points of failure depending on who you are and who I am.
Yes.
That point of failure could be strength.
Right, exactly.
That point of failure could be technique. That point of failure could be skill deficiency.
Yeah.
So it's more important for you to find out where your point of failure is than to learn the proper technique, correct?
Yeah, because the same technique is not going to work on every individual.
Jesse, this is an ancient methodology. It's called ecological dynamics. There are all these fancy terms for it.
Really?
Back in the old day, if you wanted to learn karate, wouldn't your master just start punching you?
Right, yeah, like the old movies.
Like the old movies.
Yeah.
I learned how to swim when my grandfather threw me in the river.
I learned the same thing.
Right?
It was my dad.
Right.
Yeah.
These are ancient methodologies.
Yeah.
That are just kind of beginning to blossom in professional combat sports and professional athletics. There isn't a lot of it in knife work because we've become accustomed to structure.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And this linear pedagogy where before you learn a down block, you must learn the rising block.
Yes.
Before you learn a back fist, you must perfect a straight punch.
Yeah.
And so that's a long path. And it's a meaningful and rewarding path.
Yeah.
But if I'm going to be tasked with teaching a law enforcement group and I have 2 days with them, I can't say, this is day 1 out of 10 years.
Let's start with stances.
Right, right. So it's just taking these ancient methodologies, understanding modern application, blending it with a little bit of an understanding of behavioral psychology, putting it all together and then codifying and synthesizing a 6-7 hour seminar to give people enough of an experience that hopefully, there are no guarantees, hopefully makes them safer.
But I think this made me a lot safer and all the viewers. So thank you so much for this master class. I really appreciate it.
My pleasure.